I used to clean houses, and today I'm trying to find out if there's life in another planet. My name is Diane Trujillo, and I work robotic arms to collect samples on Mars. What we're trying to do is to roll around the surface of this unknown planet to try to find out if at some point there was life on the surface of Mars. On the robotic arm, we have two very interesting instruments. For the robotic arm is actually right behind me. We will use the arm to place those instruments or the drill that will collect the sample, which are the ones that will be analyzing the terrain and helping us understand what it's composed of and understanding if there was some traceability of life. And I feel like a lucky person to be working on this. We're standing on the Mars yard. The intent here is to demonstrate that we have enough grip to continue to move the rover up and down in hill on the surface of Mars. I was born and raised in Colombia. There was a lot of violence going on in my country. So for me, looking up at the sky and looking at the stars was my safe place. I came to the US when I was 17. I learned English, paid myself through college, and eventually applied to be working here. We spend lots and lots of hours here testing everything from how it should be moved, from how we're going to configure it. This is us trying to understand how we will use the hardware and the software to get it to do what we want to do on the surface of Mars. It is more about your enthusiasm, your passion, and if you're determined to do what you want to do in your life, you will find a way.
Hi, I'm Raquel Villanueva with NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Southern California. In honor of Hispanic Heritage Month, which starts today, we will be asking and answering your questions in both English y Español. And you'll be able to see Diana Trujillo's story again in Spanish at the end of this broadcast. Now, getting to Mars is a test of perseverance in itself, and we are joined today by one of the many faces behind the spacecraft. Diana is an engineer working on the robotic arm of the rover. Su interés en el espacio nació en su nativa Colombia, cuando miraba las estrellas. Her love of space in Colombia led her to NASA JPL, where she's working on her second Mars spacecraft. And she joins us live from her home. And if you have any questions you'd like to ask in English, o si tienes preguntas en español, you can leave them right here in the chat. Bienvenida, Diana.
Raquel, muchas gracias. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. So to start, I'll ask a question in English and we'll ask them again in Spanish. So why is the robotic arm such an important part of the Mars 2020 mission?
But besides the fact that I worked on robotic arm, I think that it is very important because it is a 7-foot arm long that has two instruments that are key for our understanding of what's going on the surface of Mars. That is Pixel and Sherlock. So the robotic arm will be the mechanism that will place those two instruments close to the surface, and we call it proximity operations. Use those two instruments to do a mapping that could help us understand if there is any biosignature that could give us a clue that there was potential life in the past. So my team and I, the job is to, how do we actually get close to that target, to that rock that scientists really want to see, and how creative can we get to put this ginormous arm close to a teeny tiny target that they want to inspect and then put the two instruments in it. So I feel like we enable the science and enable the scientists to get what they want.
That's great. Now, for the Spanish, ¿por qué es tan importante el brazo robótico para la visión?
Bueno, el brazo robótico es muy importante en esta misión porque nos está ayudando a mover dos instrumentos que tenemos al final del brazo robótico, que es Pixel y Sherlock. Esos dos instrumentos, cuando los ponemos cerca de la roca, hacen un mapa, nos pueden mostrar las pistas con respecto a la posibilidad de que hubo vida en la superficie de Marte o no. Así que mi grupo y yo, lo que nos toca tratar de hacer es crear la forma en que podemos poner este brazo robótico tan grande en la roca o el espécimen que los científicos quieren ver para que nosotros podamos ayudarlos a encontrar lo que están buscando.
Diana, you worked on the Curiosity rover, the forerunner of this latest rover. What's it like working on the Perseverance rover now?
I think it's just crazy and fun to know that I did curiosity and now I'm doing perseverance. I can see that continuity of what we're trying to do with the whole Mars program, right? Trying to understand, could we have sustained life in the past? Check. The chemical composition is there. Curiosity found that. That's awesome. And now we get to take the next step, which is to try to find out if there was life on the surface of Mars in the past. And the fact that I have the fact that I am so lucky to have been part of the first question and the second question, both within my lifetime, is just mind-blowing, right? You read books about the potential discoveries and you think that 100 years pass in between one and the other, but that's not the case here. We just did it back to back, and it's just incredible to be part of history like this.
It's great to have you too. So esta es su segunda misión a Marte. ¿Qué cambios hay en esta misión?
Bueno, los cambios entre la misión entre curiosidad y perseverancia es lo que estamos tratando de buscar. La pregunta anterior era si podíamos tener la posibilidad de sostener la vida, y la pregunta que estamos tratando de contestar ahora es si hubo vida en el pasado. Claramente llevamos diferentes cosas, diferentes instrumentos. Los instrumentos de curiosidad, claro, estaban tratando de buscar la composición química. Los instrumentos de perseverancia están tratando de hacer un mapa para demostrar si hay las pistas o no. Adicionalmente a eso, cambiamos ciertas cosas en las llantas, por ejemplo, son diferentes. Las cámaras tienen más potencia. Incrementamos capacidad en perseverancia, pero lo que creo que es extremadamente chévere es el hecho de que estamos contestando dos preguntas que son fundamentales para la historia del ser humano en un periodo pequeño. No es como 100 años entre las preguntas, sino que pasa una y ya podemos hacer la otra. Hubo posibilidad de vida y ahora será que la podemos encontrar que hubo en el pasado. Eso me parece supremamente increíble.
Sí, gracias. And let's talk about Colombia. Your passion for space exploration began in Colombia. What advice do you have for people who want to follow your career path?
Well, I think that it's a very interesting question because I know this is going to sound kind of funny and cheesy maybe, but the fact that curiosity and perseverance are the two missions that I worked on, I think that my advice to everybody else will be, find the thing that you love, find the thing that you have in your heart, understand what the potential plan is that could be. What did anybody else or other people that have done that career path have achieved in the past, and see if you can pick some of those things from those people. Everybody does it differently. I did it a specific way. It doesn't mean that that is the right way. There's other ways, but you can at least learn from those people and say, I want that, I want this, I don't want this. And then also discipline, curiosity, and perseverance, to be honest. And that's the cheesy part that I was going to say, because it's the name of the missions, but it's true. It's really you not giving up and not quitting, even when it gets hard, because you have a target in your mind.
That wasn't cheesy at all. It was great advice. So, ¿qué consejos tienes para las personas que quieren trabajar en la NASA en el futuro?
Bueno, mira, yo pienso que el consejo que le daría a las niñas, por ejemplo, o a las mujeres que me están viendo, es el hecho de que tienes que encontrar cuál es la cosa que te gusta. En algún momento en tu corazón tienes la pasión de decir, sabes, eso me gusta, son las 3 de la mañana, lo voy a seguir haciendo, a las 5 de la mañana lo voy a seguir haciendo, no importa qué hora es. Cuando tú estás en esa salsa, cuando te das cuenta que así es que te gusta, esa es la indicación de que de pronto ese es tu camino, y tienes que tener disciplina, perseverancia y curiosidad para continuar en ese plan y seguir tratando de que ese plan salga adelante, sabiendo que las cosas se van a poner difíciles, pero también entendiendo que si miras la vida de otras personas que han hecho el trabajo que tú quieres, tienes la posibilidad de escoger las cosas que ellos o ellas han hecho, las que tú quieres hacer y las que no quieres hacer. Y te pueden dar como un mapa, no exactamente como lo tienes que hacer tú lo puedes hacer como tú quieras, pero tienes una idea de cómo potencialmente lo puedes hacer.
That's great advice once again. Now I'm going to ask you some questions that are coming in from social media. And first up is Kelly. Ella quiere saber, ¿qué crees tú que pase si encontramos vida antigua en Marte?
Bueno, Kira, yo te digo que es una pregunta muy interesante porque yo pienso que esa pregunta ya, en mi perspectiva, es algo personal. Yo espero que personalmente nos demos cuenta que porque no somos la única especie en el universo, podamos encontrar una forma de coexistir mejor y encontrarnos mejor como personas, entender que somos uno de varias especies en el mundo y de pronto podamos coexistir en el planeta Tierra mejor, cuidar el planeta Tierra y entender que no somos el centro del universo y que tenemos que compartirlo con todo lo que está pasando alrededor.
It really is an interesting question. So for the English audience, Kelly wanted to know, what does Diane think will happen if we found ancient life on Mars?
Yeah, so my answer to that is that I think it's a personal question. I don't know what will happen from the science standpoint, but from the personal perspective, I hope that when we find that there was the possibility of life or that there was life in the past on the surface of Mars, we could understand or adjust our own understanding of where we fit in, not only in society, but in the world. And now it's not just society and the world, like where do we fit in the universe? And how we can actually take care of ourselves more, take care of our planet more, take care of the fact that we're no longer the center of the universe, but we need to share it, and we have to find a way of coexisting.
It was a great answer. And I have a question from Martu. ¿Quieres saber cuánto tiempo toma para armar un rover marciano? You have experience on both now.
Bueno, te digo que aproximadamente, basado en mi experiencia, es entre el momento en el que se tiene la idea y el momento en el que ya lo pones en el cohete. En las dos misiones en las que yo he estado, ha pasado aproximadamente 10 años entre la concepción y salió para Marte. Me parece que 10 años suenan mucho para ciertas personas, pero la verdad es que no es tanto, porque en 10 años hacer algo desde la nada a mandarlo es increíble, y hacerlo detrás de cada uno, ¿no? Curiosidad primero, después perseverancia, back to back, demuestra que estamos haciendo muy bien.
Sí, está haciendo bien. Y en inglés, they want to know, how long does it take to build a rover for Mars? And you have work in both, so I think you would be the right person to ask.
Well, I'll tell you that based on my experience, Curiosity took approximately 10 years, and Perseverance too, and that's from conception to launching. I think that there were a lot of things that both of the missions actually share and had in common that enable that to be such a short period of time. Although some people might think that 10 years is a long time, right? But like the first question that you asked me is 10 years for one and 10 years for the other to find out if life was sustained on another planet, and that there could have been, and that there was life on the past in another planet, is really not that long timeline. I think that demonstrates how well we're doing as humanity, and how much curiosity and ingenuity do we have to continue to work on these missions and continue to launch things to answer fundamental questions.
That's great. And now I have a question from Victor on Facebook coming in live. He asks, can you remember the first thought that started this amazing journey for you? I want to know this too, Victor.
That's a good question, Victor. It's interesting. I think that the first thought for me, there were two thoughts. The first one was, I need to take care of my own, meaning I need to take care of my mom and my family when I started the journey to come to the U.S. And I think that when I started the journey to go to NASA, it's because I wanted, it's like Kelly's question. I wanted to understand how is it that all the planets and the solar system and everything on the sky just coexist in a way that, you don't look at the sky and, the stars are crashing and burning or anything like that. You're just seeing them peaceful and working, and they're so majestic. So I wanted to understand that. I think that was my first thought about space.
Y Diana, ¿puedes contestar esta pregunta en español?
Sí, claro. La pregunta que Víctor está haciendo es, ¿cuál fue el primer pensamiento que yo tuve cuando pensé en hacer cosas con respecto al espacio? El primer pensamiento que yo tuve cuando me vine a Estados Unidos fue ayudar a mi familia, ayudar a mi mamá y devolverme a ayudarla a ella. Pero cuando empecé a pensar en el espacio y lo que quería hacer con el espacio, lo que se me vino a la mente es que yo quería entender cómo es posible que cuando tú miras al firmamento y ves las estrellas no están chocando, no se ve caótico, se ve perfecto, se ve como en paz. Yo quería entender cómo es que el universo, el sistema solar, los planetas, todo funciona con una paz y coexistencia que es increíble. Así que esa fue la primera pregunta que me hice, ¿cómo funciona tan bien?
Ahora tengo otra pregunta. Tentencor quiere saber, en lo personal, ¿qué parte del proyecto es lo que más te ha gustado?
Bueno, esa es súper buena pregunta. En lo personal, lo que más me ha gustado, la verdad, es la gente. La gente porque te cuento que hay momentos en los que estamos trabajando, como les estaba comentando mientras nos estábamos arreglando para este programa, 24 horas al día por una semana entera, y en ese momento son las 2 de la mañana y la gente todavía está súper feliz ayudando, son las 5 de la tarde todavía súper feliz, y pienso que en algún momento cuando estás con toda tu gente que está pensando en lo mismo y lo que queremos hacer, hay un instante en el que hay como magia, ¿no? Como cuando todos entendemos que ese es el propósito que tenemos, que todos nos vamos a ayudar, que hay que buscar una respuesta y que no es quién lo dijo o cómo lo dijo o si fuiste tú o yo, es basado en lo que queremos hacer por la humanidad, y eso se siente pues espectacular porque la idea y la meta es mucho más grande que tú.
That's a great message. What he was asking was, what was your favorite part of the project?
Yeah, so my favorite part of the project is the fact that we have an international team of scientists and engineers, and at some point we just come together, right? It's just all about the goal. It's all about what we want to answer as a community that will hopefully shed some light into one of the fundamental questions of human history. And at that point, you realize that it is bigger than yourself, that it is bigger than, did I say it first? Did you say it first? How did I come out? Is it my credit or not? It doesn't matter. It's all about what's the goal. And when you get to that level, you know, it's just magic because everybody is on the same frequency and everybody just knows this is what we're going for. And it's just everybody helps each other and builds on each other's strengths. So it's just an amazing feeling.
It's really great teamwork going on. And Marcia on Facebook is asking live right now, what are your thoughts on improving equity and diversity of Hispanic Americans in the scientific community at large? Are there other Hispanics working on the Mars rover?
Yes. So Marcia, thank you so much for asking that question because that is absolutely necessary, right? I think that when you think about the fact that we're trying to answer like crazy questions, right? When we're trying to do things that nobody else has done, and we just only do it with a specific type, class, a denomination of people, we are certainly not doing the whole job. It is not possible to answer the questions that nobody has answered before by keeping parts of us out. And so we need to make sure that diversity and inclusion, those two different things, come into play when we are trying to solve problems and things that would never consider. It shouldn't only be on that, of course, it should be on everything. But in this specific case, what I am trying to get at is that we need creative solutions, and creative solutions come out of different backgrounds, of different people, of different expectations and things that people live. And none of that is taught in school. All of that comes genuine to the uniqueness of each person. So when we bring all of that together, then we can answer questions that we didn't think we had answers, right? And so I think that it is important that we do all of that. It is important that we also raise the bar, and what I mean with raise the bar, I mean all of those people from different backgrounds that are part of the team have also the opportunities to go up the chain and manage in different ways so that the teams can be more diverse and more inclusive. And at some point, we can just be more effective, honestly.
That's great. It's all about that magic you were saying about bringing people together and getting their thoughts. ¿Y puedes contestar esta pregunta en español?
Sí, claro. So, una de las preguntas que me estaban haciendo era el hecho de que cómo podemos estar seguros de que incrementemos la cantidad de diversidad y inclusividad en los proyectos que estamos haciendo. Entonces, mi respuesta a eso es el hecho de que, mira, estamos tratando de contestar preguntas que nadie antes se ha hecho. Sería imposible y en muchos niveles ilógico no ponerse a pensar de que necesitamos de todos los tipos de caminos, de todas las personas, de todas las cosas que son únicas para cada tipo de persona, para que vengan y entren y trabajen con nosotros en esta forma mágica para contestar las preguntas. Es imposible pensar que cuando, mira, yo me pongo a ver las imágenes de Apolo y cuando veo eso, pensar de que solamente una clase de personas puede contestar todas las preguntas es ilógico. Entonces, es importante y nosotros todos lo estamos viendo, es el hecho de que más personas de diferentes países, de diferentes etnicidades, de diferentes culturas, entren a trabajar para que nos ayuden a contestar las preguntas fundamentales que nunca nos hemos hecho.
It's muy importante. And kind of piggybacking off of that, Jorge on Facebook asks, any advice for girls interested in sciences?
Yeah, lots of advice, to be honest. I feel like maybe one of the most fundamental things for the girls that are interested in science is that if you care about science, if that is the thing that you want, don't let anybody tell you that that's not your thing. Don't let anybody tell you that you're not good enough for that thing. Yeah, you're going to get it. But when I say don't let anybody tell you that, is don't let yourself believe that, because you have it in you and you know when it's your thing. You know when you care about it. You know when you're working it and making results and that you're excited. Like, nobody really knows how excited you are about a topic except yourself. So if you feel excited, then you have to protect that and make sure that you have a plan to get to where you want to go by looking at other people, maybe role models that have done things that you're excited about, and make your own plan and just always, put your compass in that direction, regardless of what everybody else is saying.
I think it's great that they have a role model like you too. Y puedes también contestar esta pregunta en español.
Sí, ¿cuál sería el consejo que le da a las niñas que les gustaría hacer cosas de la ciencia? El consejo que les doy es que si les gusta, si está en el corazón, si es algo que las hace sentir supremamente satisfechas y feliz, ¿qué importa lo que digan los otros? Si las otras personas dicen que tú no eres para esto, que a ti que no eres suficientemente inteligente, que es algo que me dijeron a mí, no importa, pones tu compás donde tú crees que tienes que ir, continúas caminando en ese camino y miras la vida de otras personas que han hecho lo que tú quieres hacer y escoges de la vida de ellos o de ellas qué es lo que tú quieres y cómo tú lo quieres, independientemente de lo que diga todo el mundo. Porque tú lo puedes hacer. Al final del día es tú la que va a estar a las 3 de la mañana en el laboratorio como yo haciendo el trabajo.
And speaking to kids, we actually have a question from an 8-year-old. 8-year-old Ian wants to know, what will the robotic arm be able to do?
Hey, Ian, this is an awesome question. Thanks for asking. I'll tell you that what will the robotic arm will be able to do is that we will be able to drill holes. We will be able to collect samples. We will be able to make maps of the chemical composition of the rocks that we're seeing. We'll be able to take super, super close images, like if you were having a magnifying glass. And we will be able to help the scientists put the instruments as if it was their own hand, right? Like the scientists pick up the location, we deploy the arm, and we go where they want to go. So I feel like the robotic arm is kind of like that interface in between what you will want it to be and when you actually in reality touch the rock, and we enable all of that.
It's a great question, Ian. ¿Qué va a ser el brazo robótico for everyone in español?
Okay, so esta es una pregunta de Ian que tiene 8 años. Es súper chévere la pregunta. Gracias porque te gusta la ciencia. Te digo que el brazo robótico lo que va a hacer es taladrar, escoger o colectar el espécimen que vamos a mandar después en otra misión para la Tierra. Tomar fotos bien cerca, como con un vidrio magnifante, ¿no? Que lo puedes ver bien cerquita. Y adicionalmente a eso, tratar de hacer mapas que nos pueden ayudar a entender si hubo la posibilidad de vida en la superficie de Marte. Todo eso pues es ayudando y trabajando con los científicos, así que mi grupo y yo se sienten como que somos la parte en la que puede hacer realidad lo que el científico quiere hacer poniendo el brazo robótico en la roca que quiera.
Great. And Kristen on Facebook asks, this has been my dream job for many years, and I'm a bit intimidated to pursue the long-term education it requires, though. She wants to know, how did you do it, and what inspired you to get there?
So listen, Kristen, I totally get it. It feels like, oh my God, I need 5 PhD and I need to be Albert Einstein and all that. Not really, right? I will tell you that in my specific case, I have a bachelor's degree. I don't have a master. I don't have a PhD. Maybe if I were to just give you advice right now, I would say take a bachelor's degree and then do a master's. So you can just come in with the right context of what you need. I will also say that it is all about your attitude, right? When you come in, I realize that what has worked for me is that my attitude toward problems isn't like, oh no, this is a problem. My attitude toward problems have been more of a, this is a problem, how do we fix it? And let me clock it in until I can actually figure out the right answer. So I think that, yes, it feels like, a bachelor's degree and then the master's like a lot, but I also know other colleagues and friends of mine that have done the bachelor's degree, and then when they're already working, they do their master. So I wouldn't shy away from doing your dream job because you have to do your bachelor's degree. It's totally rewarding, and by the way, the moment you start doing it, you're using your bachelor's degree, but mainly what you're using is the way that you're thinking. So get through the bachelor's degree because it's all, I feel like, based on how your brain thinks and how much you love it, that it will be enough fuel to keep going.
Y puedes contestar esa pregunta también en español. It was a great answer.
Kristen estaba preguntando de que, pero mira, este es mi trabajo que me fascina, lo quiero hacer, pero la educación es supremamente larga. Y lo que quería decirle a ella y a ustedes en español también es que no necesitas 3 PhDs y 4 Masters y ser Albert Einstein o algo así. Lo que en mi caso específico, yo tengo solamente mi grado de universidad y no tengo maestría, no tengo PhD, pero si te fuera a dar un ejemplo o un consejo ahorita mismo, te diría que hicieras la universidad, bachelor's degree, y después hicieras una maestría para poder entrar a JPL haciendo lo que tienes que saber con respecto a operar o manejar naves espaciales. Pero yo también pienso que si escoges otra carrera, probablemente eso sí también, tienes que hacer tu bachelor's degree, de pronto no tu master, pero otros colegas que también han hecho el bachelor's degree y el master lo han hecho cuando están ya en el trabajo. Así que si te gusta, no deberías dejar de hacerlo porque te da miedo en la universidad. Simplemente a la universidad porque a la misma vez lo que importa es las ganas que tienes y la esperanza de poder hacer el trabajo, y si tienes eso conjunto, tu personalidad te va a ayudar cuando llegues acá. Así que no te preocupes, no tienes que sabértelo todo.
As always, thank you so much for answering the questions and your advice. It was very solid. Gracias mucho por su tiempo, Diana.
Gracias, Raquel. Muchas gracias. Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks. Now, Perseverance is set to land on Mars on February 18th, 2021. Now, for the latest on the mission, follow at NASA Persevere on Twitter and Facebook. You can watch all the Behind the Spacecraft video profiles on the NASA 360 YouTube channel and see Diana again in a NASA Science Live episode for Hispanic Heritage Month, airing September 30th. Thanks for watching. Vamos a terminar este programa con el video de Diana en español. Hasta luego.
Nunca se me ocurrió en mi vida de que yo podría moverme de limpiar a llegar a esta situación trabajando con Mars 2020. Mi nombre es Diane Trujillo y trabajo con manos robóticas para colectar materiales en la superficie del planeta Marte. Para poder entender y contestar la pregunta, ¿alguna vez hubo vida en la superficie de Marte? Esa es una de las preguntas más fundamentales que el ser humano ha tenido por muchos años. Estamos en el laboratorio donde hacemos todas las examinaciones de la mano robótica. Las manos robóticas para estas misiones son muy importantes porque no tenemos un geólogo que pueda caminar en la superficie. Entonces lo que necesitamos que hacer es llevar varios instrumentos que podamos levantar de la superficie arriba, y en ese momento necesitamos una mano robótica que pueda poner los instrumentos en la superficie. Estamos parados en un área donde simulamos la superficie de Marte y la intención es demostrar que podemos manejar en diferentes condiciones con el robot. Cuando yo pongo a pensar cómo fue que yo llegué aquí, es algo que yo no me lo puedo creer. Cuando estaba en Colombia, desafortunadamente había mucha violencia y mirar las estrellas era algo que me podía ayudar a calmarme. Yo llegué acá a Estados Unidos cuando tenía 17 años, aprendí inglés cuando llegué acá, vengo al trabajo como una mujer hispana representando a muchas personas que no han pensado que pueden ser parte de eso, pero que pueden ser en algún momento. Entonces yo me siento extremadamente feliz saber que tengo la oportunidad de ser parte de un grupo que puede cambiar la historia.